What's up, guys? This is Diode, and I just had a release on Manifest. My track, So Good, just dropped last week, and I'm very proud of this track. It's my first dance floor release ever. Just been really making straight bangers as far as what I'm trying to make is just straight bangers, neurofunk, in your face, grimy, crunchy sounds. But this one actually is a little bit different. This track is called So Good. It's out now. You can check the link in the description. And we're just going to take a quick moment and walk through the track. So let's dive right into the door, kid. All right, so this is the track. We're just going to go ahead and go from the build into the drop. We'll break things down a bit. So let's go ahead with the build and go right to the drop here. Let's see.
My life is so good, baby, let's get on the bounce. Life is so good, you can taste it only once. That is so hot, I'm afraid of getting burned. I'm your kryptonite. My life is so hot, I can get enough. But baby, don't stop, keep holding on. Please don't check the time, what's on your mind? What's so hot, I can get enough. Don't stop, keep holding on. Don't stop, keep holding on. Don't stop, keep holding on.
Yeah. I don't know. I may be a little bit biased, but I think the track is so good. So let's hop back into the DAW and look at the drums, bass, music, vocals, and effects, and we will take it from there. So let's hop back in. All right, so we are here in the DAW. I wrote this track in FL Studio. The master was engineered by Impact Sound Engineering. Shout out to Wraith, who did the master, gave me some pointers on my mix down. I did those things, and because of those little things, I learned a crap ton. So, but yeah, let's go ahead and dive right in. The track is your simple drum and bass track. So the drum pattern's a pretty simple one. Here's a kick. This is the main meat of the snare. This is a layer of the snare. Let's add on that layer so you can hear. That's a little dirt I added to the snare. I've got some rides and an open hat here. And then I've got a drum loop that I've high passed. And then I've got a shaker loop. And then together, that makes the drum beat that you've heard. That's everything minus the crash. And simply in my rack, I've got my kick with just an EQ on it. I've got my snare with an EQ and then a mid-side controller on it where I dropped the sides by actually almost 6 dB there because it was a little too wide for the track. And then I've got let's see here, I've got my shakes and everything else. Pretty much all my other stuff are going into a drum bus. In the drum bus, I've only got a wave shaper and an EQ where I queued out the sides on the low end. So it doesn't clash or phase or anything else. And that way I can get a clean low end mid signal out to the master. So that was the drums. Let's go ahead and dive into the bass line. So essentially the bass is a couple layers. I've got the bell bass, the main bell sound here, which is a made in Serum. Actually, it was a preset from a culture pack, and I just modified it a bit. So I've got deltoid here, got the wavetable position set there. I am FMing from B, and I've got everything pretty much going in with a sub and everything going to going into the a low pass filter here. Another layer is this Reese sound, and that's using Serum as well. This is before Serum 2 came out, of course. So I Can Has Kick, which is a go-to if you're making dance floor drum and bass and you want that stabby bass. This is really a good one to use. I've got some FM coming from the noise. I've got distortion, compression, reverb, and EQ. And that's pretty much it there. Oh, then we have this. This is what really does the work. That sounds good. You see it gives it a little bit more power. Add some harmonics in there. It sounds great. So we're going to close that one. And then I've got my sub layer, which was from this original set of sounds. It's the same patch. I just removed everything. So no filter, no oscillator A or B. I just left the sub and I left the distortion. So there's nothing else going on in here except for distortion and that sub. That sub goes into a sub bass channel, and I layer all this into my bass bus. In my bass bus, there's just a wave shaper, giving it some oomph. I've got some EQing going on there. We got a clipper, and then I've got my ducking. One of my favorite tools to use to sidechain is Devious Machines duck. Then I've got it going into another EQ just to dip some of this 171 hertz range. And then I've got it going into an imager just to give it a little bit more width on the top end. All right, so you saw the drums, the bass. Now let's drop into the musical parts of the track, And so now we're looking at some of the musical elements of the track. It's a very simple track. So Rhodes and... And then it goes into this. Beautiful. In the drop, it's pretty simple. And then I took my original Rhodes key notes and I resampled them. So originally this track was actually a house track. I made it here at home. My girl was here and I kind of felt she likes house. So I kind of felt like I wanted to make some house music. So, maybe to impress her a little bit, like, yo, check me out. But I can't live in the slow lane, bro. I got to speed this thing up. So I took the track. I left all the Rhodes and the keys that I wrote. And the vocal was already there. But I needed to switch it up a bit and bring it into drum and bass. So I've sped this thing up. I slowed it down as you heard it there in the beginning, but this is pretty much how the original went. And then I have this little part going. So you can kind of hear what's going on there. So, and that's the majority of it. Going into the main Rhodes user, it's from God Mode Serum presets. I got this a little while back, and I found this Rhodes sounding chord, and it sounded really, really good. So, it just sounds great. Yeah, it sounds good. Clean, orchestral, or like church organ kind of thing. It's nice. I've got this retro stab here. Probably also another. Oh, actually, this one is a ballistic space, and so that's in phase plant. And then my little synth here is also another Apollo chord. So yeah, it's pretty good stuff. Pretty easy. I've got let's see what else is going on here. Yep, that is the majority of it as far as the music goes. Pretty simple, but beautiful. And then we're going to the vocals. All right, so we went through the drums, the bass, the synths. Now let's just drop into the vocals, and let's dive right back into the dark kid. So here we are in the DAW yet again. We're going to go ahead and look at the vocals. So the vocals are from a pack that I found on FL Cloud's pack here. They sound great as it is. Oh, actually, really interesting. So the intro vocals are actually me trying to sing. I don't know what I was thinking, but they sound pretty damn interesting for one particular reason. So we'll go into number 36. So you see all of this chain that's going on. Let's go ahead and turn off the chain of plugins and listen to that voice.
My love is so good.
Stop. So I ran it through a bunch of effects. I have this patcher that was created by presetpros.com. I bought some stuff there. It makes the voice sound nice and clean and clear. I got some EQing going on where what did I do here? I pretty much took the loin out and I boosted some frequencies that lacked. I compressed it. Then the actual trick from the song comes from the effect, comes from this vocodex. So vocodex is a vocoder. And I used a preset backing voices. So it kind of makes it sound like a bunch of people are there. So I left a little tiny bit of the original leaking through, but it really is that. So if we take that off. My love is so good. Yeah, it's so good. Whatever. And then I take the vocodex on. My love is so good. And it's kind of off tune. But with the song playing, the backing vocals makes it sound in tune. It just sounds really good all together. Then it goes into another EQ, and then I think the EQ is what's giving it that phone feel. And then from the EQ, it goes into some reverbs, a couple sets of them, and then they go out to the vocal bus. Then I've got the main vocals, which is from that pack on FL Cloud. All I did was add some effects to them to make them sound clean with using fresh air to give it some brightness, some reverb, and then some EQ to kill some of the harsh and like a harsh tone that kept popping through the mix. And then a mid-side controller, which I actually brought the sides up in this, but then I think I take them back down. Yeah, I brought the sides up and I pretty much take them back away on the vocal bus. And this is the vocals. I'm your kryptonite, my love is so good, my love is so good. So that sounds good. And then I found on the same pack, I found this like beautiful sounding voice, and we use this for the switch on the let's see here. Don't stop, don't. A lot of effects there, but this voice here. That sounds beautiful. So on that channel, I got a Volcano from FabFilter. Give it a little bit of effects. I've got a Saturn going on, which is what's giving it that phone booth, that phone sound. And then I've got I've got an EQ going, cut out some of the lows, bring up some of the mids, and the sides here because it was sounding kind of thin. And then again, I brought the sides back down. Don't ask me why, but it was a little bit too wide, and I probably brought them down because of phasing issues. If it's too wide and you got nothing going down the middle, you might have some cancellations coming out of the speakers, which you don't want. So, and that's pretty much it for the vocals, aside from like some chops and all that, which is like something I do a lot. Is like chop stuff up.
Don't stop, that is so good. Don't stop, that is so good. Don't stop.
Simple stuff, but good. All right, so we got pretty much through most of the track. Let's go ahead and dive into a quick overview of the effects. There's not much going on. Let's hop in there and take a look at them anyways. All righty, we're here in the effects, and we're just going to take a brief. I'm not going to play the effects because they're simple. They're from sample packs, cymatics, culture, whatever. And effects like that. We got risers. We got crashes. We got white noise. We got everything going into, let's see if I have actually a lot of the stuff is probably going right out into the master since I leveled it so low and the EQing sounded fine, and they were just backing to a lot of the track to keep it like a little bit full, a little bit exciting. Maybe I could have did more, but in this track I just kept it simple just to keep the track going, keep the flow, and then all together, everything back together. Yes. I mean, there's some other things we didn't go through. Like I've got this little lead sound here, which is in the end. The point of my ending in this track where I use a simple dance floor. Simply because there's two things going on. I'm going to make a VIP out of this. I'm going to VIP this, and I'm going to, use that kind of sound, make more of a dance floor track. This is more like poppy dance floor, not really, festival dance floor, if that makes sense. And then I did that particularly so if you are going to mix it into a dance floor track, if you are in the same key, you really shouldn't have an issue. So, definitely drop that B line in there and mix it into your favorite song. So yeah, this is your boy, the one they call Super Daddy Diode. Man, shout out to specifically a couple people. Nina Bay for the inspiration, the homie Korax for the connection, and Aarow for actually taking the moment to appreciate my music and letting it be a part of a movement per se, where the dance floor drum and bass scene, it has been, it's really a couple of labels that are putting that stuff out, and there's no smaller labels putting it out. It's usually like the bigger labels, but Aarow's doing a great job. The guy's got an ear for good music, and Manifest Records puts out a lot of really good music. They've got a lot of great producers on there, and I am honored to be a part of that squad. I really appreciate anybody who downloads, who listens to the track, put it on your reels or anything. It really means a lot to me, but I really hope you like the song. And for the producers out there, I hope you all learned a little bit at least, and it'd be awesome. So yeah. That's it. That's your my track, So Good, out now on Manifest. In addition, real quick, got to do a quick shout out to myself. If you want to see more things like this, track breakdowns, or actually watch me work on whips, which is works in progress. Wednesday nights we have a show called Let Me D&B, and we make drum and bass. We meaning me and my alternate ego. But I actually make drum and bass live on there on Twitch. You can watch it on Twitch. You can chat with us on Twitch. and then watch it on YouTube and Facebook. All under Alex Diode. Just search for me. You'll be able to find that stuff. So Wednesday nights we do whips. So if you've got tracks and you want us to hear it, there's a slew of maybe on average 15 to 20 drum and bass producers who tune in. Sometimes there's A&Rs on there for record labels and record label owners as well. So if you got a track that you want to heard, whether it be for feedback, for a reaction, or just to network at all, feel free to send that track over. And if we got time, we will plug them in. We constantly put maybe 5 or 6 tracks of our producer friends, and I always love to hear that stuff because it is an inspiration. So check us out on Wednesday nights, and then on Saturday mornings, every other Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I do live production where I don't listen to whips as much, but I do work on drum and bass. And yeah, this is your boy Alex Diode. I'm out. Peace.
No motion.